Welcome dear students, Class 10 Chapter 2 Nationalism in India. In Part 1 we already discussed condition in India during the time of First World War, what is meant by Satyagraha, which are the three successful Satyagraha movements led by Mahatma Gandhi, Rowlatt Act, Jallianwala Bagh incident and Khilafat movement. These are the 6 points we discussed in Part 1. The Part 1 video, its link is available in the description. Okay, let us move to the Part 2. In Part 2, we are going to discuss first of all, how was the beginning of non-cooperation movement and which are the various social groups participated in the non-cooperation movement. That is the participation of various social groups. And the third one we are going to discuss, what is Simon Commission. These are the 3 points we are going to discuss in this Part 2. Then, how was the beginning of non-cooperation movement? Mahatma Gandhi, in his famous book, Hindu Swaraj, it was published in 1909. In that book, he declared that British rule was established in India with the cooperation of Indians. And that rule had survived only because of this cooperation. So the British rule established in our country with the cooperation of Indians, and it is continuing. It survived only because of this cooperation. If Indians refused to cooperate, British rule would collapse within a year and Swaraj, freedom, would come. This was the idea behind the non-cooperation movement. And how was the beginning of the non-cooperation movement? Otherwise, how the non-cooperation movement want to start? The movement should unfold in stages. The surrender of titles that the government awarded, the British government awarded some titles to the eminent Indians. So the surrender of such type of titles, boycott of civil services, army, police, courts, legislative council, schools and foreign goods. Almost all the British institutions want to boycott. The Congress session at Nagpur in December 1920, the non-cooperation program was adopted. So this is the way, the beginning of the non-cooperation movement. Then, which are the various social groups participated in non-cooperation movement? The first group participated the movement in the towns by the middle class. The second in the countryside. In the countryside, first in the Oudh region, the peasants led the movement, and in the Gudam hills of Andhra Pradesh, the tribals led the movement, and in the third group participated in the plantations of Assam, the plantation workers. So these are the 3 groups participated in the non-cooperation movement. The movement in towns by middle class, in the countryside, peasants and tribals, in the plantations, the plantation workers. So the first one we can check. The movement began in January 1921. The non-cooperation movement began in January 1921. Various social groups participated with its own specific interest. Most of the social groups participated in the non-cooperation movement, not for the Swaraj, because with their own specific interest. First of all, the movement in the towns. It started by the middle class. Thousands of students left government-controlled schools and colleges. Headmasters and teachers resigned, and lawyers gave up their legal practices. The council elections were boycotted in most of the provinces. Foreign goods were boycotted. Liquor shops picketed. Foreign cloth burned in huge bonfire. The import of foreign cloth, because of this movement in the towns, the import of foreign cloth became half during the time of 1921 and 1922. So this was the way the middle class participated in the towns. But this movement in the cities gradually slowed down. Failure of the movement in the towns. Why? Because the khadi cloth was expensive than mass-produced milk cloth and poor people could not buy it. So almost all the things boycotted. The foreign clothes. So instead of that, alternative things, that is the khadi cloth, it was expensive. The Indian cloth, it was expensive than the mass-produced milk cloth. So because of this, the poor people could not buy it. Similarly, the boycott of British institutions posed a problem. There were not any alternative Indian institutions. So students and teachers began going back to the government schools and lawyers joined back work in the government courts. So this is the way the movement in cities gradually slowed down, otherwise become a failure. Then the second group participated in the non-cooperation movement in the countryside. First of all, the struggles of peasants in the Oudh region. Peasants were led by Baba Ramchandra. Their leader was Baba Ramchandra, a sannyasi in the Oudh region. The movement here was against talukdars and landlords. Actually, the peasants participated in the non-cooperation movement in the Oudh region as a movement against talukdars and landlords. And the talukdars and landlords demanded from peasants high taxes, high rents, and variety of other taxes. Peasants had to do bigar and work at landlords' farms without any payments. As tenants, they had no security of tenant being regularly evicted. They had no security of tenant and they may be regularly avoided from their land. The peasant movement demanded a reduction of revenue, abolition of bigar, and a social boycott of oppressive landlord system. This was the demands of the peasants in the Oudh region. So the movement here against talukdars and landlords because they demanded high rents and various taxes from the peasants, and also they want to do bigar, and that means they have to work in the landlord's farms without any payments. Then in the countryside, in the Oudh region, in June 1920, Jawaharlal Nehru visited the Oudh region to see the condition of the peasants. By October, the Oudh Kisan Sabha was set up for the welfare of the peasants. The peasant movement later turned into violence. The Congress leadership was unhappy about that. The houses of talukdars and merchants were attacked, bazaars were looted, and grain hoards were taken over. In many places, local leaders told peasants that Gandhiji had declared that no taxes were to be paid, that is, no tax campaign. They led no taxes were to be paid and land was to be redistributed among the poor. Such type of false information given by some of the local leaders. So this is the way the peasants participated in the countryside in the Oudh region. Then in the countryside, in the Gudam hills of Andhra Pradesh, the tribals participated. They participated in a militant guerrilla movement. They participated as a militant guerrilla movement spread in the early 1920s. This region, the Gudam hills of Andhra Pradesh, it was a forest region. The colonial government had closed large forest areas. The British government closed the large forest area and prohibited the tribals entering to the forest, graze their cattle, collect fuel wood, and collect fruits. Everything prohibited by the British government. So it not only affected their livelihoods, but their traditional rights were being denied. The government began forcing them to do bigar, compulsory work without any payment. So the person who came to lead them was Alluri Sitaram Raju. The leader of the tribals was Alluri Sitaram Raju. He was inspired by the non-cooperation movement that led by Mahatma Gandhi, and he, Alluri Sitaram Raju, persuaded the people to wear khadi cloth and give up drinking. He declared that India could be liberated only by the use of force, not non-violence. So he wanted to use some violence method. That is why the militant guerrilla movement spread. The Gudam rebels, the people of the Alluri Sidam Raju, attacked police stations, attempted to kill British officials, and carried on guerrilla warfare for achieving Swaraj. But Alluri Sidam Ram Raju was captured and executed in 1924. This is the way the tribals in the Gudam hills of Andhra Pradesh participated in the non-cooperation movement. When Mahatma Gandhi declared non-cooperation movement, they participated in this way. Now, the third group participated in the non-cooperation movement in the plantations. The plantation workers in Assam, freedom means the right to move freely in and out of the closed plantation. At that time, there were no freedom in the plantations, especially the tea plantation. Under the Inland Immigration Act of 1859, the British government passed a law, that is the Inland Immigration Act of 1859. The plantation workers were not permitted to leave the tea garden without permission. So, when they heard of the non-cooperation movement, the plantation workers, the thousands of workers, defied the authorities, left the plantations, and they headed home. They began to defy the authorities and they began to move out of the plantation and began to return to their home, headed towards their home. They believed that Gandhi Raj was coming and everyone would be given land in their own villages. Their expectation was like this. That is why they defied the authorities, left the plantation, and headed towards their home. But they never reached their destination. They never reached their home. They were caught by the police and brutally beaten up. So everywhere the non-cooperation movement turned violence. So that is why Mahatma Gandhi in February 1922, Mahatma Gandhi decided to withdraw the non-cooperation movement, especially with the incident of Chauri Chaura. Then, in this part, the third point, Simon Commission. What is Simon Commission? The British government under Tory, the Tory government in Britain constituted a statutory commission under Sir John Simon. The British government, by seeing the violence and nationalist movement spreading in India, by seeing this, by observing this, they decided to send a commission under the leadership of Sir John Simon. This commission set up in response to the nationalist movement and to look into the functioning of the constitutional system in India and suggest changes. The British government sent the commission to observe to the nationalist movement and look into the functioning of a constitutional system in India and suggest some changes. But the problem was that the commission did not have a single Indian member. Almost all the members in the commission were British officials. When the Simon Commission arrived in India in 1928, it was greeted with the slogan, "Go back Simon," because there were no any Indian members. All political parties participated in the demonstrations. In an effort to win them over, so almost all the people turned against the Simon Commission. So, to pacify the people, the Viceroy, at that time the Viceroy Lord Irwin, announced in October 1929 a vague offer of dominion status. That means a subsidiary country under the British rule, a dominion status for India in an unspecified future, and a roundtable conference to discuss the future constitution. We will conduct a roundtable conference in Britain, and the Indian leaders will be invited, and a dominion status will be given to you, such as the vague offer given by the Viceroy Lord Irwin. But this did not satisfy the Congress leaders. So this is the Simon Commission. So these are the things we discussed in part 2. What is non-cooperation movement? How was the beginning of non-cooperation movement? What is the idea behind non-cooperation movement? And second, we discussed which are the various social groups participated in towns in the countryside, in the plantation. And what is Simon Commission? Okay, thank you.